I don't know what my wife's doing right now, but apparently I'm crouching node, and this is hidden Kira or some shit. Babe, what are you doing? Oh, she has
I have
notes.
notes because
She
apparently I
like
don't
note
talk enough.
cards, and we have a working laptop plugged into the TV now, and a clownfish and a butterfly. Because why the fuck not? You never know when a butterfly might queef on you, and clownfish might help with the jokes from time because clownfish tell jokes, right? Hey, how you doing? I'm a clownfish. What's going on here? You know any jokes? No, I don't know fucking jokes. I'm just a fucking clownfish. And I'm not a very good ventriloquist. This is all we fucking have, so we're gonna try to make it
But we're
a
moving
little
on.
more interesting if I could find any pictures that'll actually show up on the fucking flat screen. That's not really working out so well. So
I have notes. You say I don't talk enough. I have lots of notes and with which to talk with to about in the King's Forest.
careful what you wish for.
Yeah, you might regret this.
Okay. So, Clownfish, you got anything? No, I'm just gonna stare at the back of your head for a while. Okay.
Just don't poo on me. Or queef on me. That's what butterflies do. They queef on you.
If a butterfly if a butterfly queefs in the woods, does anybody hear it scream?
I don't think the clownfish hears it.
Yeah, I just wasn't very fucking impressed. See, the clownfish is apparently a '20s gangster from Brooklyn, and the butterfly is a reincarnated Mozart or Chopin or some classical composer.
Tchaikovsky.
Tchaikovsky, is that it?
Tchaikovsky.
I don't know, but every time I hear, hear with my eyes. Every time I see the butterfly back there, I'm just thinking.
And then I expect to see Bugs Bunny come running through the room.
Yeah, what's up, Jack? Okay.
It's Sunday.
I'm still waiting for the clownfish to tell a joke.
I don't think he's going to, dude. You're stereotyping, you racist.
You racist bastard. Is that why he
He's a
keeps staring at me?
racist.
He thinks I'm racist?
You're a racist.
Oh shit, he might be plotting something back there.
Better you than me.
Is he still looking? Okay. So, in the past week, while we were giving thanks for our blessed life here in America, Ukraine's been commemorating something called Holodomor. And not a lot of people know about this because, well, we're busy buying shit this time of year.
Not to mention that it's not in our history books at all.
Not much.
Sad.
Not
Because when we go into the details of what it entailed,
it's in some history books, but they just gloss it over. It's just like the pogroms with Pol Pot, and the Russian pogrom. Most other genocides besides the Holocaust, basically. So
just to give you a little bit of details for those of you who have not read it anywhere, this was a period between 1932 and 1933 when 4.5 million Ukrainians were starved to death, and this is including 600,000 unborn children by the Soviet regime under Joseph Stalin. That's a lot. That means that there were 24 people dying every minute.
So, during the week of Thanksgiving, at the very least, just as an easy way to remember it, this image right here. I'm not Ukrainian, but I support you, is what it says. It's probably not going to show up very easily on the video here. Oh, there you go. Oh. The technology of picking up things and moving them. very old technology. Could use some improving upon. Oh, wait. Oh, we've done that. Shit. Oh, I just, need somebody else to do it for me. Chop, chop! No. Just kidding, I'm kidding.
Aziz movement, no.
Yes, put that over there, please. Oh. And throw him to the floor, Centurion. Oh, wait. Sorry, wrong movie. This isn't a movie. This is fake TV. Okay. So, speaking of Ukraine, let's go through some side news, and we're going to cover basically all the stuff that the media has been giving, maybe in little bitty snippets, but you'd have to know a lot of different smart little places to look to find all this stuff. But we're going to give it to you all in one place, and guess what? I don't care if you got a problem with me being crazy Jesus guy or whatever. This fucking channel is worth subscribing to, and these videos are worth sharing. Okay, so pick one that doesn't make your friends too queasy and go ahead and, put it out there. So anyways, the Crimean Peninsula, which was invaded and annexed by Russia a little over a year ago now. Wasn't it? About a year ago?
About a year and a half.
A year and a half ago, yeah.
Because the Orange Revolution started 2 years ago this winter.
Well, they have been without power for about a week now. Okay, and this is just their main power grid. They have secondary power grids coming from the Russian naval base, but most of Crimea, apparently, is without power. Can't get any video from there, apparently, because internet's down, I guess, too. No power, no internet.
Can't charge phones if you don't have power.
Mm-hmm. So anyways, the reason for this is the Crimean Tatars, which is a small ethnic community that's been in Crimea for a long, long time. And I have, forgiven them for how they got there. Okay, but apparently Russia just hasn't, because they've been basically deporting them for a long time. They deported millions of them before and just moved them all to Uzbekistan after World War II, and have recently been just kind of oppressing the community there. And they've deported, droves of people in the beginning and just kind of selective leaders and their families since then. Well, the Crimean Tatars got together with the private sector, the right sector nationalist Ukrainians, and they've started a blockade of the Crimean Peninsula from the Ukrainian side of the landmass, where they're actually connected by land and not a bridge. They're connected to Russia directly by a bridge, and not much access to Donbass. The obstacle for the Russian combined forces has basically been Mariupol. Okay, and Mariupol is basically, you have Crimea here, you have the Russians here, and you have Mariupol is this little city on the coast right here. Actually, it's not a city; it's one of the biggest cities in Ukraine. Isn't it the biggest city on the coast right there? Okay. So a week ago, this little blockade that had been stopping traffic decided to blow up the main conduit power lines, like blew them up from their stands, toppled them over, a bunch of them apparently. And by the way, I'm reading notes. And apparently Ukraine proper tried to send some repair crews or something, and the right sector and the Tatars have blocked them from entering Crimea. So this is all going on under the guise of what's going on in Turkey. And in addition to that, the Donbass militants, that whole eastern Ukraine section that's been carved out by combined Russian forces, that's been opening fire with high power artillery and mortars and Grad missile launcher attacks. And specifically around Mariupol, where the Ukrainian positions have been forced to move back, shifting the demilitarized zone, which is the place where they're supposed to have a ceasefire. Now they're kind of like, okay, is the ceasefire still on? But they've pulled the fuck back. Okay, so Russia is gaining ground in Ukraine towards Mariupol right now. Anybody else talking about that but me? Thank you. Ukraine News, wait, is it Ukraine Today now? They've had their offices bombed, and they've had their websites hacked, and they've had to change a few times to make, getting back up and running a little easier. It's not that easy to get your old shit in it. Especially when people who knew passwords died. Yeah, this is real shit. Other fucking little news channels with their fancy graphics, I got a TV now. Oh. But all these fucking channels are just lying. I can't put it any other way. Do I seem jealous? Well, I'm not envious, but I am in fact jealous. You know the definition of those words, you'd know the difference. Because the fact of the matter is, what we're doing out of love. And for no other reason. And we like to put smiles on people's faces, so I like to try to be funny. A little bit. Muy bien. Okay.
The kids are back from a sleepover, and the cats apparently have missed them.
Yeah.
Here to wreck it.
All right, so Ukraine. What else we got?
Well,
Hold, anything for Ukraine?
No,
Okay. Ukraine. See? Ukraine. Being all professional and stuff. I might even press pause before I change the next image. Ooh. Okay. Wasn't very nice.
I never claimed to be very
You hurt
nice.
my feelings.
Brush that shit off.
You're not my friend.
No, I'm your wife.
Okay. Sorry. Did I mention we're happy? We're happy.
Mm-hmm.
It's ridiculous how happy we are.
Mm-hmm.
Long fucking time. One of the big reasons for the whole schism is people couldn't understand how I could allow stuff to go wrong in a relationship. Well, with all the other crap that I've come here to experience, it'd be shitty of me to be too chicken shit for that. Okay? So, prove myself to y'all, then I prove my love to her. But anyways, sorry about the crazy Jesus guy talk.
I'm a clownfish and you're my anemone.
Here.
Hi!
Okay. So, back to Ukraine. Slava. Let's see. U.S., as of about 3 weeks ago, begun supplying advanced radar systems to Ukraine. These can track not only incoming aircraft, but incoming artillery. Certain types of artillery. And President Bush has signed the budget. Wait, I think we got to... hold on. I think we have something, an image of what that budget looks like. President Obama. All right, I started thinking about war and presidents. I just think about Bush, don't you? President Obama signed. As you can see, it's a disconnect notice. Fuck. No, I'm kidding. Actually, we...
No, that really is a disconnect notice, though.
Well, that's a disconnect notice. But what President Obama signed wasn't a disconnect notice. And you have to rub it in how broke we are.
This is from 2014.
Yeah, it's been a while since we were that broke, for the most part. No, actually, this was when we had a water leak, and we had $180 water bills. Water, okay?
Agua.
Like it was fucking Arrakis. Okay. Anyway. But, okay, in our new defense budget, what we have is $300 million for Ukraine. Here, nothing to see here at all. I think the clownfish put that one up there. He's got a sense of humor after all. Is the scream of the butterfly the sound it makes when it... Never mind. Okay. So yeah, Slava Ukraine. We have $300 million in advanced radar systems going to Ukraine. Because Obama has a strategy, it turns out. Oh my God. What a concept. We have the fucking smartest people in our fucking country advising him, telling him what to do. And guess what? Donald Trump doesn't. Okay.
We got a plan.
Obviously, neither does Ben Carson. Sorry. So let's see. What we got? Anything else for Ukraine? No. So
hop, skip, and jump over Russia.
Speaking of Thanksgiving, somebody's trying to kill a turkey, and it's Putin. Wait, I think we have a graphic for that. And then we told them we were going to destroy ISIS. Good, but we're trying, trying.
You got to give us an E for effort.
Or an F for brain fart, or what?
Whatever tickles your pickle, dear.
I seem to have a cough. I should get some more oxygen. The Lost Begottens do not express the viewpoints of YouTube or its affiliate sponsors.
What he said.
Yeah.
All right, back to Russia.
What in Russia?
I have notes. You wanted me to talk more? I have notes.
Now we are back in Russia. How many bells is it for Russian?
Well, 1 and 2 are German. 3 is Dracula.
We have no bells in Russia. It is a happy sound. We cannot have this. What?
I don't know. I'm female. I'm not supposed to have an opinion.
Okay. Sorry.
We digress. Again.
We just basically have fun staring at ourselves and doing stupid shit. Just started out for friends, and now I got close to 2,000 subscribers. Fuck you gonna do? But the fact of the matter is, I actually do cover shit that people don't fucking bother with. Unless it's to paint America as the great Satan. Okay, you have a unified effort out there to paint America as the great Satan. And I'm not saying we don't have problems here, okay? I'm saying that there is a coordinated effort to turn people into traitors because of our problems. And I'm the only one sitting there trying to find solutions. There's who? Fucking soapbox. Sorry, soapbox. I gotta get off my soapbox before I gotta end the video. So what about Russia, dear?
Well, I'm gonna talk about the plane being shot down, and I'll get into Putin's reaction.
Okay. So we're gonna have dueling notes, basically. We'll see if we didn't write down the same shit. Well, as y'all may have noticed, in the past few months, shit's been getting really out of hand. We went from having all the obvious drama with Ukraine and Russia's military buildup in Syria to Russia having a brand new science vessel stalking our coast. And since then, other flat earth channels, thank God, have actually bothered to reporting just a little bit on it, using it to make their points more. But Russia has been stalking the internet cables between Europe and North America, the submarine. They're just dragged across the ocean. Okay. Now, I sit there and laugh, and I'm sure people who are into flat Earth sit there and laugh all the time when they hear them talk about this, because they're like, "Oh, I would have thought the internet was carried on satellites." Even Stephen Colbert, I think it was, didn't he?
Mm-hmm. With the claws and the crab.
And what have flat earthers been saying for years? You don't fucking carry it on satellites. It's on cables and freaking direct beam infrared systems.
You're not supposed to get your computer wet.
Oh yeah, it makes perfect sense. It's got to be on satellites because you can't get your computer wet. Yeah. Okay. So, you might have heard this other thing. Turkey kind of shot down a Russian Su-24.
This happened on November 24th.
Well, Turkey refuted the initial claim that it was a planned provocation by releasing an audio warning that was actually what the pilot said to the Russian pilot. Supposedly, it sounded, legitimate-ish to me. Not that these things are hard to fake. It's just, I don't know how good a job Turkey would have done at it, and it's just a matter of who do you trust more? Do you trust Erdogan, who he says what he feels when he has given nobody any reason to think he's dishonest.
No, and he's even talking about sitting down with Putin at the climate change summit that's getting ready to happen.
Yeah,
I think on Monday.
He's asking to meet with Putin,
and he wants to sit down and talk to Putin, and he's talking all this good stuff, but falling short of an actual apology, which is what Putin wants.
But then Russia turns around and says there were no warning signs given.
Okay? And they weren't.
And then the next day, it was, I think, Friday evening or Saturday, they had a press conference with the Russian defense minister, who's a general, okay? And he laid out this accusation in a statement to the press about how 2 F-16s were launched from Turkey with the explicit purpose, I'm trying to quote him, with the explicit purpose of ambushing our aircraft.
Now, Turkey, no lie, has jumped back and forth between saying that they were actually in Turkish airspace to also saying that the area that Russia was bombing didn't have anybody but Turkmen is what they called it. Turkish citizens there.
Well, actually, they've said both. They said, and that can be twisted by the media to try to diffuse the situation and try to make it look like we're not supposed to take sides. But Turkey is a NATO ally, okay? And what I've seen take place is Turkey acknowledged that this encounter begun over those Turkmen areas in Syria, where we have been basically effectively having a no-fly zone, and Russia knows it.
Now, also bear in mind that there has not been a confrontation between Russia and a NATO country since the 50s.
Yeah.
So it's been over half a century since
somebody actually shot down somebody else's craft, and that was U-2, wasn't it? They shot down in the 50s.
So, in response to the fact that Putin being pissed that the Turkish president has not apologized for shooting down the plane, yesterday morning he signed a sanctions decree against Turkey.
He didn't apologize for the action, but he did express his condolences and said he's sorry for the pilot and sorry that somebody had to die, basically. He said he was saddened. He said he was sad, so he's not sorry.
So part of this decree, the sanctions that Putin signed, all charter flights from Russia to Turkey are now banned. And all this, I think, takes effect on Monday, tomorrow. Any businesses, tour businesses, are going to be told to stop selling trips and vacations to Turkey. Unspecified Turkish imports are going to be banned in Russia, which is generally food. Ironically enough, you're getting banned from food coming in from Europe. Now you're getting banned from food coming in from Turkey. And also,
what's the best way to whip an army into frenzy? To get your army ready to go. Make the people hungry.
Mm-hmm.
My family's hungry. We can't put up with this fucking bullshit from these evil Westerners anymore.
And also, Turkish firms and nationals that have economic activities in Russia, their economic activities are going to be halted or curbed.
Now, did you hear about a few days ago? The first thing that they dropped was this new nuclear deal that was actually recently signed between Turkey and Russia. Okay, Russia was going to, actually, a Russian company, a state-owned company, had the bid that won and signed the deal for a couple of, actually, I think, nuclear reactors in Turkey. And also, a few months before that, Russia made a deal with Turkey to supply it with anti-aircraft missile defense systems. So, Turkey and Russia have been friends. I mean, there's actually quite a few NATO countries who've done business with Russia for the past very, very many years. This is a recent thing where the line in the sand is kind of blurry.
Yeah, it's really kind of a sticky situation too because of the no confrontation in the past 50 some odd years. If Russia does decide to turn around and attack Turkey, the other NATO members can't exactly sit back and do anything because they have a thing. Turkey's not a major NATO member. It's one of the smaller ones that NATO has agreed to protect.
Yeah.
And if they don't step up, if Russia attacks, then, well, what's NATO's promises about watching over the smaller members?
Right. No. NATO is with Turkey. NATO's come out.
Well, I know that, but NATO doesn't exactly want to start up another.
Yeah, they're not going to provoke it. That's been the whole reason why the media, especially Fox News and people like John McCain, are put up there as misunderstanding and saying Obama's weak because they don't understand his strategy is not to provoke the sleeping bear. Okay? John McCain's now, here, take this stick and go poke him with it. Go poke him with it. We don't need to make any preparations. So, what else we got?
Russia.
Turkey.
Also, Turkey and the EU got some interesting things. The European Union has some interesting talks going on right now.
Right.
Reuters and a couple other news stations and newspapers are reporting that the European Union is offering Turkey cash and closer ties to the European Union to stem the flow of migrants into Europe. They're offering them 3 billion euros, which equates to 3.2 billion US dollars.
Because bear in mind, when you talk about the front lines, as far as determining who's a migrant and who's an Islamic State terrorist, Turkey is pretty much the place that all the manpower needs to be. All the European countries and the FBI and everybody who can needs to send people to Turkey and send money and assistance to Turkey. Because aside from boats coming directly from Africa, pretty much everything's got to go through Turkey unless it's taking a train around through Russia.
Well, the 3 billion...
And they've been shoring up those borders too.
The 3 billion euros that the European Union is offering to Syria is to improve the quality of life for the 2.2 million Syrians that are already in Turkey.
So right, they can't talk strategy, baby.
No, but I mean they're offering it to them. No, they gave the reason. They're offering it to them to improve the life of the Syrians that are already there, so they're less likely to get on the boat and go to Greece and thus through everywhere to get into Europe. However, Turkey wants more money than that, though, of course. And also they're talking about continuing talks of having Turkey join the European Union, which these talks have actually been stalled for the past 10 years. They started talking about it 10 years ago.
Right.
And
and that's what I've said on previous videos, that the way another aspect of Obama's strategy is to make sure that Turkey sees that they need NATO. Okay,
Well,
because the reason why we haven't let Turkey become fully fledged NATO is because they used to be ran by a sultan. It used to be a theocratic state, and it has been targeted, obviously, by Russian gifts, by Russian deals, by Russian.
But this isn't the NATO talks. This is the European Union talks to be a part of the European
Right,
Union.
but it's all kind of the same thing as far as geostrategy goes right now.
They also have talks about lifting the visa restrictions for Turkish citizens to travel into Europe. Right now, you have to have a visa to get into Europe from Turkey if you're a Turkish citizen.
Strategically, the European Union is kind of a stepping stone to NATO and an economic representation of it in some ways, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But speaking of migrants in Islamic State, another thing that Russia came out and accused Turkey of was directly assisting the Islamic State. They've come out and directly accused the United States of directly funding and equipping the United States intentionally, not accidentally, not they stole our shit, so that's why they have our stuff. No, they say that the CIA is basically the one who behind Islamic State. Now they've accused Turkey of being the primary purchaser of Islamic State stolen oil. Okay. And Erdogan has come out and said exactly what I've been saying for months, which is that the Islamic State and Assad have always done business. They've always been friends. They've only got in, well, I've stated the fact that you can find for yourself, is that they've only been in a couple of very small skirmishes. They just shot at each other from a distance and then kind of held their ground for a while. Okay? This is until Russia got involved. Now nobody really knows what the fuck's going on out there. Because Russia has electronic jamming that covers very large areas. Okay. So yeah, Edgergan's basically pointed out the connection between support of terrorism and Syria, with the implicit knowledge that who supports Syria? Russia.
Speaking of Russia and Syria and all their support and whatnot, brings me to China. So everybody's been kind of wondering where China's stance on the whole Islamic State thing is, and well, China never tells us what they're for. Always tells us what they're not for. So recently in Mali, the shootings that happened in Mali last week, 3 high-ranking executives with state-owned China Railway Construction Corporation International were killed in the Mali shootings. This is also following the killing of a 50-year-old Chinese citizen by the Islamic State. And right now, China is blaming the U.S., France, and Russia for all the airstrikes that they've been conducting, saying that they interfered with China's attempt to rescue their 50-year-old citizen. Apparently, the Islamic State was asking for a ransom, and China was actually trying to work with them. And they said that the bombing screwed all that up. So they're blaming us and Russia and France for it right now. So it's really still unclear if they're going to join the fight. The Chinese president's kind of in a predicament because they're Russia's ally, and Russia's jumped in, but they don't want to seem like they're showing support for the West because we're the ones leading the coalition in fighting the Islamic State. So nobody really knows what China's doing, but there's pressure.
The whole strategy between Obama and the what's his name, China, is don't let Russia know anytime we're cooperating about anything. Okay? Make sure we always have something that we look like we're bitching at each other for, so that when we do cooperate.
Well, it kind of messes with China's want to show that they're a world power. You know, they've got a huge military, but they're refusing to do anything about it, and some of the Chinese citizens are getting a little pissed off about it. Like, we got this huge military, and we're not doing jack shit about, our citizens. This guy, this 50-year-old, was a freelance writer that got captured and beheaded. So, that's China right now.
So I don't see anything else on mine.
Oh, okay, so I can keep going?
Yeah, go ahead, babe.
Okay, so keeping with all this air raids and whatnot going against the Islamic State, we go around full circle to England, where Prime Minister David Cameron is preparing for a vote in the UK House of Commons on extending the British airstrikes into Syria. Right now, they're only bombing in Iraq. And he's trying to get the people to vote and say, okay, let's move from Iraq into Syria and kind of nip this shit in the bud, so to speak. But opposing party leader Jeremy Corbyn, who's with the Labour Party, is trying to claim that attacking in Syria is going to lead to civilian casualties and it's going to fuel extremism. Which I can see, because if you take a look at what's been happening in England,
that's the usual fucking.
Well, it is, but if you look at what's happening in England, how many Muslims?
Over and over again, the same.
But England has a whole lot of Muslim civilians living in their country.
Sure.
So turning around and bombing Syria, can cause a whole bunch of unrest on their home soil. So I can see where that party's like, whoa, maybe we shouldn't. But Britain, Prime Minister Cameron, he doesn't want. He's literally going out and telling the people, we don't want other countries, to do our work for us. So that's where that stands. They're supposed to be voting this week.
Right. I mean, if they have intelligence in Britain that somebody in the Islamic State through Syria is plotting an attack, a terrorist attack, they want to be able to strike in Syria.
Right.
And the civilian argument is always going to be made. And while I sympathize with it, it's bowing to terrorism.
It is.
It's literally bowing to terrorism.
But see, the ironic thing about that story...
We won't fight back because we're afraid you'll get more mad at us. I'm so fucking sick of it.
Well, the ironic thing about it is Cameron, actually, his party holds the majority in the House of Commons right now. And
he's going to get his way.
And about half of the members of the Labour Party actually agree with Cameron. But the thing is that the party leader, Jeremy Corbyn, he's talking about he doesn't care how his party wants to vote. He's going to vote against it. Period. Bottom line. He's not even taking his party's opinion into consideration, which that's not going to leave him as a party leader much longer. If that goes through. Personally, I think.
Always be wary of someone who isn't willing to listen to reason. They're probably compromised financially.
Mm-hmm.
Or through some other pressure, of course. Yeah. Never underestimate the horde. Alright. One more.
I have one more note.
What's the subject?
It's Serbia and Kosovo. It's not to do...
Serbia and Kosovo.
But we can tie that into the EU.
I don't know if I have a graphic for that. I'm getting tired of
No,
looking
I'm
at
your
Lavrov
graphic.
and Putin. Hold on. Now that I'm not hearing Lavrov and Putin chuckling behind me, it's kind of distracting,
A little bit.
So, what else we got there?
So, Serbia and Kosovo. I'm going to give just a brief backstory on Serbia and Kosovo because, first of all, we've already done a video on this, so go back and look for it, the war on Yugoslavia. So Kosovo, Serbia...
We started something that we found to be kind of an endless story of misinformation.
So, Yugoslavia used to be one big country, got split up, Croatia, Montenegro, Serbia, Kosovo, blah, 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 blah. Well, before the war started, Kosovo actually seceded from Yugoslavia, so to speak, and it started a war. Blah, blah, blah. You can go to the video to catch all the details. So at the moment, we fast forward 16 years after the war has ended, and both Kosovo and Serbia are vying for membership into the EU. Now, the problem with Kosovo vying for EU membership is that a lot of the European Union countries don't actually recognize Kosovo as a country. So they're kind of a whole lot further back from the whole getting European Union recognition than Serbia is. Now,
the carving up of this area, by the way, dates back to the Crusades, the fall of Constantinople.
Yes, it does. So there are areas of Kosovo. Kosovo has been separated 16 years ago. They've got their own parliament, their own system of government, blah, blah, blah. But there are still major areas...
With tear gas and everything.
With, damn
it. They one of the guys in the opposition, I wasn't sure whether, who he was or anything, but they had a tear gas attack within the parliament, like one parliament person versus the people he disagreed with. Tear gas.
So, so they have their own parliament and yada yada, but there are major sections of Kosovo that are still predominantly Serbian. And what Serbia is requesting as part of, Kosovo's recognition into the European Union is that they're given more power over those provinces since they're the majority, what's the word I'm looking for, peoples of that region. And
So those minorities don't get oppressed,
right.
basically.
And they're also requesting that that these little provinces that are predominantly Serbian are allowed to get funded from Belgrade, which is the capital of Serbia, for those of you that don't know.
And the reason why we're brainwashed not to care about this more than anything is because we have it ingrained in us that we're not even allowed to think that it's possible that somebody with white skin could possibly be oppressed.
Hmm.
Hmm.
So, essentially, what's been happening over the last week and a half to 2 weeks is there have been riots going on in the streets of Kosovo. There have been fights breaking out in parliament, and it's just one big giant mess. And of course, with the whole migrant situation that's happening in Europe, everything else that people have been discussing and whatnot have kind of been tucked under the rug to deal with the migrant crisis, and it's pissing off other people who want their demands and whatnot. So we're still waiting to see how that plays out.
Yeah, and Serbia, oddly enough, and one of the reasons why I think reading between the lines, trying to get what's going on behind the scenes, is so far from what the media and common news will tell you. You know, the little fake documentaries and fake commentaries of all the billions of troll channels, it seems, is that, well, I used to contend that it wasn't quite Serbia's military that was doing all the really shitty stuff. It was Serbian militias that were directly backed from Russia, and that Russia basically had effective control over the Serbian military after certain agreements were made within Serbia, which, by the way, Milosevic was pissed about.
And bear in mind that the reason that Russia had such a control was because up until just before that point, Serbia was a communist country.
And now, guess who supports Serbia? The United States. Well, we bombed them. They shot down a NATO aircraft. No, that was Russia within Serbia. Okay, basically using the Serbian people not only as scapegoats, but shields.
Oh yeah, they blew up a bridge that had Serbians on it with targets on their T-shirts, all standing on the bridge protesting NATO bombing of Belgrade. And God rest their souls, because a lot of them didn't live through that.
But for some reason, what was going on behind the scenes was so misunderstood that now we're allies.
Go figure. Only took destroying one of the most historic countries
That's
in the
how
world.
far fetched everything gets in the media when Russia wants something. Okay? And that was the whole objective, was to fuck that whole place up so much that it had to be returned to the Soviet Union.
Y'all remember that end scene in Mars Attacks when they showed all the buildings that just were like missing the outer wall and you could see like each individual room of the apartments and the floors? Well, that's what Belgrade looked like after NATO was done. And my aunt actually has pictures to prove that freaking almost a decade after this happened, there are buildings that still aren't repaired to counters, like New Orleans did after Katrina, still to this day.
Yeah. War is fucked up.
Yeah.
Especially when deception gets involved. Okay? And the fact of the matter is, American politicians get deceived a lot. So do European politicians. What's funny is, you hear about these places like Serbia. We fought a war there, and then the people sided with us when it didn't seem like they should. That's how you can tell when some bullshit happened. Okay? And don't put it past Russia to be launching extra fucking artillery around the areas where NATO airstrikes happen. You never know what the fuck's going on. What's this picture back here? That's Hiroshima. We're allies with them now, aren't we? It's Japan. In fact, it's one of the closest allies in America, to America. And as you can see, some bullshit happened right there. Because the bomb was supposed to have fallen at this exact point. And there's buildings right there still standing. And the amount of damage is basically sporadic and looks like just intense firebombing. Oh, but you were told we dropped nuclear weapons on Japan. Well, we are a very tactful people in our own way. And one thing we knew about Japan, once we started to see the truth of what was really going on in the world, was that they required honor. Okay? And that's what gave it to them. It's fucked up. I'm not apologizing for it. Apologize for it. But I'm saying the difference between the facts and the reality isn't that we just did the same old thing and they eventually relented. We gave them a propaganda story. Oh no, a fucking super weapon that can just wipe out your whole city in an instant. Okay. That, if they surrendered to that, that would be honorable, right? So that's why we're friends. Anyway. And that's why there were some people who didn't have Russian programming media in Serbia. And they went the fuck to Germany and Italy, and some of them got all the way here. That's why I have my Murphy. So, I guess that's all we have planned for today.
No more notes. Write them all.
No more funny pictures. That's not really a funny picture. Smack me. Okay. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please click the little thumbs up like button. And if you'd like to actually get the only unique perspective, you can tolerate the crazy Jesus guy, you can realize what makes me the crazy Jesus guy who happens to be telling the fucking truth that nobody else is telling. Or you can just ignore all that and laugh at the jokes. I don't really fucking care. It's the truth that's important. So, subscribe!